welcome to Sci-Fi Night. I'm your host, Sebastian Vendel Martinez, and this is the show where we check out some of the lesser-known sci-fi and horror movies out there and try to find the right expectations needed to get the most out of them. So, in tonight's episode, we're checking out a horror film that's definitely not German, it's Austrian, damn it. There is a difference. Ich Se, or Goodnight Mommy, as it's been called internationally, is a 2014 Austrian film that recently had an international trailer release that was dubbed as the scariest trailer ever by people who clearly don't know anything about movies. The film is about a pair of twin brothers who live out in the middle of the Austrian countryside awaiting the return of her mother, who has recently received extensive facial surgery, with bandages that make her look about as terrifying as humanly possible. Is that their loving mother or an ancient Mesopotamian demon? I'm not really sure. As the mother returns, she seems very different, hostile, irritable, and not like the mother the brothers remembered.
Seit wann sperren wir Türen zu?
We start suspecting that this is in fact someone else and not their mother, and they then decide to stay on their toes and try to discover what's going on. So that's about where I have to stop with a plot, because as usual I don't like going into spoilers for those of you who haven't seen the movie. Now let me backtrack to a point I made earlier regarding the misleading trailer. In addition to this not at all being as scary as the people writing about the trailer made it out to be, the film itself is very different from how it was marketed. So after seeing this movie, I went online and looked up the original Austrian trailer, and lo and behold, it markets the film for what it actually is. A dark psychological drama thriller, not some kind of freaky ass horror film like the American trailer made it out to be. Once again, like with Splice, we've got a case of a studio not having faith in the actual material itself, and tricking people into seeing the movie by marketing it as something else. So aside from this being a total asshole move on the part of international distributors, it also sells you an entirely different film.
Surprise, motherfucker!
This is in actuality a very slow-moving psychological art house thriller, not a terrifying horror film like the American trailer suggested. Also, the people who cut the American trailer completely chopped together two different scenes that don't interconnect to try to sell you something that doesn't actually happen, which again is a total asshole move. Unfortunately, that's not my only gripe with the film though. It's hard to go into detail, but I'll try to keep this as spoiler-free as possible. Basically, this is a very dreamlike film where people act very illogically and not a whole lot is explained. That's fine, but the lines between what's real and what's not are very unclear and it can get a little distracting. Now, I get that this is the kind of movie where things are supposed to be unclear and up for interpretation, but then the ending comes around which answers a lot of questions, but then simultaneously creates others. Things that were built up and previously shown all of a sudden don't make as much sense, and I just feel that as much as I really liked the ending, it didn't really manage to save the film and unfortunately didn't live up to its potential in my opinion. So, like I said, it didn't live up to its potential, but what should you expect from this movie? Austrian art house thriller. So yeah, this is not your run-of-the-mill horror film, unlike the trailers would have you believe. This is a film that requires patience and a different approach. This is a movie that's much stronger in tone and visuals as opposed to actual information and storytelling, so you absolutely can't and shouldn't expect anything conventional. The film is extremely well shot though, and there are tons of great atmospheric shots that I truly adore. But it's not like the dialogue is particularly moving. I mean, obviously you have to know what Euro movies are like to be able to get into this, but if you dig that kind of different element, then there's a chance you'll dig this. Great potential, okay execution. Here's my problem. I feel like the film was a little style over substance. Because when we get hit with the information twist at the end, it makes me question a lot of the artistic choices that cause the film to make less sense when we have all the information. I loved the idea behind the movie, and under the surface there is a brilliant, well-made film, but I don't really feel like all the potential was realized, and like the script and screenplay just didn't really come together as well as it could have.
Genug jetzt.
Was ist?
Ist nicht Schluss jetzt.
Soll das? Mama.
A love it or hate it film. Interestingly enough, I find myself not really loving or hating it, but I can see this being a very polarizing movie for many people. I completely understand those who will hate this film due to some of the choices that are made to tell the story, but at the same time, I can understand people who will love it due to how well shot and directed it is, whilst also being completely unconventional and different from very many other horror-themed thrillers out there. So yeah, I actually find myself kind of middle of the road on this one. I neither loved or hated it. I was pretty disappointed at it upon first seeing it, but after reading more about it and thinking about it, I kind of started liking it more. Still though, this wasn't a love at first sight movie for me. Maybe I like it more on the second viewing, but I feel like I should have loved it the first time I saw it because that's what I wanted to do. Even though Goodnight Mommy definitely didn't live up to my expectations, I can't say it's a bad film because at its core, it is honestly very well made with tons of talent involved. I didn't like it as much as I thought I would, but then again, the shitty, misleading American trailer completely changed my expectations.
God damn it!
If this film sounds interesting, I'd highly suggest not watching the international or American trailer, and ideally knowing as little about it as possible, as there is some stuff that's spoiled in the trailer. Don't expect anything even close to conventional. It's slow moving, it's very artsy and abstract. It's pretty much what a European art house thriller is. The ending is pretty damn sweet, even if it takes a while to get there, and the beginning of the third act lags a little bit and goes into some kind of pointless torture porn with a really stupid moment involving the Red Cross. So that about does it for this episode of Sci-Fi Night. We hope you enjoyed it. All you Austrians out there, like all two of you, be sure to give us some love for us mentioning a film from your country. And as always, for everybody watching, give us some love, leave us a comment, give us a like, give us a subscribe, all that good stuff. As always, I'm your host, Sebastian Mendel Martinez, and we'll catch you guys next time.